going to talk about how to shift your career direction without moving to jobs that do not fulfill you. So this training is for people who want a career change while working within their values, their core values. So you can achieve a life that's aligned with those values and be more authentic and free. And I really mean authentic in the way of being real. I did a lot of reflection on leaving academia, and for me, I really needed something within my values that I really cared about, that I enjoyed, that I found easy, not because it was not within my skill level, but easy because when you do something that you really care about, it just becomes a little bit easier, if that makes sense. So for me, that was really important. And you can see me and my research team here in Cuenca, when we were able to travel to Ecuador back in 2019. Yeah, we did some good work that I felt was really meaningful, and it kind of spurred me to think more, and then the pandemic hit. So there was more reflection around what's really meaningful to do, and the work that we were doing in South America around bystander intervention for sexual harassment in universities was really a kind of spark moment of, I'd like to be able to do things like this more often and not be waiting for the grant fairy to appear and give me some funding. That's why I really left. So yes, you might want to make a contribution without feeling depleted and having financial uncertainty. You might want to feel valued without having to prove it all the time, to prove that you're worth it. You might want to use your skills in service of meaningful issues without worrying about the uncertainty of the academic pipeline. And you might feel the work you do is having an impact without, and hopefully you would have that, without feeling ground down by the systems. So this is not for you if you don't want a life or career with purpose, but maybe you simply want to find out how to interview more effectively, or create a CV. I'll definitely be going over some CV things, but it's really about finding your purpose. Okay, so I don't know if any of you watched The Chair. Had a female professor in it who was just dealing with a lot of, the BS of academic life. And being a woman trying to be a professor and make it in academia. So let's pretend that she quit academia and instead wanted to run kind of a game show, let's say. So she says, let's play, hey, want to win an all expenses paid trip to Puerto Rico? That's my home country. This goes to the first person who can get a fulfilling job without feeling lost and overwhelmed. So first we have one contestant, skills shape-shifting Sandra. Sandra tries looking at job adverts but can't work out whether she fits into any of the job specifications. I remember going through that and looking at things on LinkedIn and saying, I'm not really sure whether I have program management, project management. Are those two different things? So those kinds of job applications in industry were getting me all confused on whether I had those fits. Yes, I did this. I created a LinkedIn profile in hopes someone will notice me. And Sandra did the same. Notice her as she marks herself open to work. She might create a course proposal, but doesn't know where or how to market it. She saves up money to go on to a new degree course so she can feel qualified to apply to a job in another sector. And then you have fulfilled Fernanda, and she discovers herself and what she cares about, identifies her strengths, and finds the confidence to act and to commit to her new career goals. And she has her boundaries intact, because a lot of us in our current jobs probably didn't keep our boundaries intact, or people pushed them, right? And just went roughshod all over them. So Fernanda uses a clear strategy for which jobs to look for and knows who is in her corner so she can feel safe and fulfilled in her new job. So what do you think? Who's going to win? Okay, so I'm Luna. Nice to meet you. I'll just introduce myself. So I did my degree in the US, did my PhD after a lot of struggles. So I decided to leave and go to Europe. I went to Sweden and then I came to the UK to be a lecturer, permanent post assistant professor, permanent post associate professor that I was promoted to. And I could just tell that things weren't going to go smoothly for me again. And then we have the pensions being cut. Things aren't going in the right direction. Just everything was coming to a head that was making me question whether pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and living the American dream was ever going to happen to me in any place in a university system. So, the reality of me being tired of my professional worth being valued on pure bean counting, pure numbers. Everything was about, getting to these levels of citations or grant income. But then whenever you'd reach that, it was something else that you hadn't reached that was going to block you from promotion. So, things like that. Being Puerto Rican, I was thinking it never felt like I fit into this industry. So, but also they wanted me to work on equality, diversity, and inclusion work for free often. It was just less stability. Even with my permanent job, I felt like with redundancies happening. But people told me, this is the world now, Luna. You're lucky to have a permanent job, okay? And also it's a gig economy and a hustle culture, and you've got to do all these things to burn yourself out to get the money early, and then maybe you can retire with a better life. And I'm thinking, that's horrible. I want to live now, and I wanted to make a difference. That was the whole reason why I went into psychology to begin with, and I wanted to be creative. That was a big propelling movement for me in university. Was I wanted to be a psychologist, but also I really like creative writing, and I really like computer programming, which is a bit of creativity as well, and I really like writing. There were so many things that I left behind and thought I needed to devote myself to writing for science, and I could no longer be creative. So I just wanted that freedom back that I wanted from the beginning. So I applied to a ton of jobs in industry, nonprofits, because that's where my heart was, volunteered for experience, but I really got burnt out because I didn't really have a strategy. I was looking at my applications. It was just all over the place. And also, to be honest, once I started interviewing at the nonprofits and the charitable organizations, I realized that they had some of the same structural issues that I was finding in academia. And so that's when I said to everybody, I think I'm too radical to work anywhere. People, what's wrong with me? But really, there's nothing wrong with me, and I don't think there's anything wrong with people wanting to do social justice work. So if you're here because that's your passion, then you're in the right place. So I rediscovered my skills. I went back to the drawing board and went, what are all my skills? What are all my experiences? What can I offer to the world? What kind of value and worth do people see in me? And can I take that for myself and ignite it and make it bigger for everyone? So now I live working for myself with less stress while working on decolonizing. So I do freelance decolonizing work and community action projects with capoeira groups who do social enterprises. So those are the kinds of things that I really think are important to me. And I hope that, I can give you some idea of what you could do with your time as well. So this is how the Pivot with Purpose program that I'm going to tell you about later was born. So this Pivot with Purpose blueprint is the solution that I created from having done all the hard work and tears. And so this is what I created based on all those things to shift to a meaningful career so that I could fulfill my sense of purpose. And this allowed me to break free of those constant expectations of academia. You should be doing this, you should be doing that. And it was really bogging me down. So I really wanted to do the things that really mattered to me instead. So do you want to find a job you love, enjoy, and create meaningful change while not sacrificing your values on the altar of capitalism? Because I love being on the picket line, because it's such camaraderie, but it's also crap. We can get camaraderie in other ways. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be skills shape shifting Sandra, or do you want to be fulfilled Fernanda?